Welcome back. Last week, the Portfolio Committee on Energy interacted with stakeholders in the private as well as the public sectors to take stock of energy efficiency in South Africa. To tell us some more about the public hearings and its outcomes, we are now joined by the chairperson of the Energy Portfolio Committee, Mr. Sisa Njikelela. Good morning, sir, and welcome to our program.
Good morning, Mr. Tanda, and good morning to the viewers as well.
Mr. Njikelela, firstly, what should we understand under the term energy efficiency?
Energy efficiency is quite a broad term, but essentially it's about ensuring that the inputs in generation of energy has maximum outputs. If I can capture it very, very briefly, use as much resources as is possible in generating maximum output of energy.
But does government have an energy efficiency policy at this point in time?
The government has a number of energy policies, white paper policy on energy, on renewable energy, which have been able to become a framework and a base for the energy efficiency strategy, which was developed in 2005.
The Council for Industrial and Scientific Research told the committee that one of the biggest problems around energy efficiency was the lack of government coordination. Do you share that view?
Yes, I do. Even though the briefings of last week were not that complete, but one could sense from the briefings that the information that is generated out of the current energy efficiency practices is not coherent and doesn't give a global picture of what is happening in South Africa.
But just how efficient would you say South Africans are with regard to use of energy?
I'll put it quite philosophically. There's still a huge room for improvement. Even if one looks at the targets that were set in the energy efficiency strategy of 2005, we haven't gone far, albeit the Department of Energy still has to give us a factual update on that. It's only state-owned entities like ESCOM which seems to have been able to take strides and perform in this area. And probably a number of municipalities, although Salka wasn't there, but one can cite the George municipality, which came to do the briefing, which has been able to also display that it has achieved some energy efficiency in the past few years.
But do we as a country have a policy on how much energy a building, for instance, should use?
That's a bit technical, but I know from there are regulations that have been promulgated through the Department of Trade and Industry to ensure that buildings become more and more energy efficiency. It's work in progress, but as I say, there are already some regulations that compel particularly new buildings to ensure energy efficiency in the design.
Presently, there's a great emphasis on infrastructure development, but are there any guidelines for energy efficiency measures to be part of the development of infrastructure?
Well, as I've just said, it's a yes on one side, but partially. And going forward, I might as well emphasize that that's exactly the reason why the Portfolio Committee for Energy has triggered this process of engaging with the public to ensure that by the time we go full swing into the infrastructure build implementation, with regards to energy efficiency, there would have been adequate regulations as well as maximized compilation of incentives. And as we have already indicated, CSIR, has indicated in various ways that that can be done, and a lot of energy can be saved. Not only energy, but there could be a lot of savings, financially, and also there could be a number of other benefits, environmentally, health-wise, and even up to some jobs being created through enhancement of energy efficiency practices.
Mr. Njikelela, let's talk about the System and Market Operators Bill on the table in your committee. What is the legislation all about?
The legislation is about ensuring efficiency in the electricity supply industry, particularly due to the introduction of the independent power producers. At this stage in time, Eskom is both the generator, the dispatcher, the trader, and the planner of electricity supply. But now with the entry of independent power producers, that definitely would be an untenable situation. And the independent power producers have already expressed that concern. But even generally, for ensuring operational efficiency in this industry, as it has been witnessed globally, an independent systems and market operator is quite essential. That's what it will be. Those will be the key functions of the ISMO, taking them out of Eskom, becoming an independent state-owned enterprise.
Njikelela, we are running out of time. You also invited stakeholders to comment on the likely impact of the transfer of electricity transmission infrastructure away from Eskom. Is it possible to get a sense of stakeholder sentiment at this point in time?
At this stage in time, the presentations during the public hearings, there was a substantial call for also transfer of the transmission sector from Eskom, but the portfolio committee chose to throw that back to the department as well as the public enterprise and Eskom and National Treasury to give us scenarios of what would be the impact of that. We are going to get a response or a briefing from the task team that is handling that next week, Tuesday.
Mr. Sisa Njikelela is the chairperson of the Energy Portfolio Committee. Thank you very much, sir. We've run out of time.
Thanks very much, Mr. Tanda. Thanks to the viewers as well. And
we look at another piece of legislation after the break. It's a bill that provides for compulsory service for newly qualified veterinary surgeons. Stay with us.